Many thanks to Joe Hernandez for organizing this event and also the Hall of Fame committee. I would also like to congratulate my co-inductees tonight for their accomplishments and also thank the Cardinal Varsity Club. All of us would agree that events like tonight, as well as the opportunities to excel as a student athlete at Ball State, would not be possible without the support of the Cardinal Varsity Club, many of whose members are here tonight. Years ago, Jerry Kramer, an all-pro football player for the Green Bay Packers under Vince Lombardi, wrote two books, Instant Replay and Distant Replay. The first covered his days as a Packer, and the second, written almost 20 years later, dealt with his search for the meaning of life. In that second book, Jerry concluded that the meaning of life is to honor those who have given you your values and to pass those values on to others. And he regretted that he didn't do either very well. So tonight, nearly 20 years after my playing career, I want to acknowledge those that gave me my values. I guess you could say that tennis was my first babysitter. When I was a toddler, my mom used to lay me down on a blanket alongside the court while she played with friends. Watching balls go back and forth caused me either to fall asleep or kept me out of any serious trouble. At the age of 5 or so, Mom introduced me to the backboard, which became my best friend, a friend who I was never able to beat and whom I pretended to play championship matches against. Finally, as I got good enough to carry on a rally, Mom would always take time to hit with me at the expense of her leagues and friends and never tire of it. So Mom, in your determination to introduce me to the game of tennis, I received the value of determination and a love for tennis. When I was 14, my dad took me to the Junior National Championships in Shreveport, Louisiana. After traveling over 1,000 miles from home to compete, I received the notorious Triple Crown, which was a loss in the first round of singles, consolation singles, and doubles. I felt like I let my dad down so much that I told him I was going to walk home and quit the game. Fortunately, Dad, a former college athlete at Western Michigan and also a track coach for almost 50 years, understood that this tournament wouldn't make or break me. He convinced me that my tennis career was a marathon, not a sprint, and learning from my setback at Shreveport would allow me to succeed down the road. So, Dad, thank you for not allowing me to walk home that day, and thanks for the values of patience, perseverance, and delayed gratification. Mom was always too nervous to watch me play in the juniors, but ironically, one match she did stay and see me play was in Columbus when I was 16 years old. And I played a young, fiery redhead from Dayton, Ohio, named Dan Kronauge. Little did I know then that Dan and I would make our recruiting trip together to Ball State and compete together as seniors at Ball State. The most exciting match Dan and I played together was in the semifinals of the Fall National Championships in Austin, Texas, against the University of Texas. At a turning point in the match, as thousands of Longhorn fans were cheering against us, I started to doubt that we could win. But Dan came over to me and calmly said, "Paul, we need to dig deep and believe." And it was from this point that we took control of the match and went on to win the national championship. Dan, in that brief moment, you taught me the value of believing in myself. While I ultimately chose to enter the Naval Academy as a college freshman, my interaction with Coach Richards during my senior year in high school left a lasting impression on me. What impressed me was the tradition that Coach had built and the players who helped build it. It prompted one coach from LSU to ask Coach Richards in amazement, "Bill, where do you get these guys from? Some factory in Muncie?" What he meant was that the program had developed a reputation as a hard-working, blue-collar type program which did more with less. The program had less scholarships than much of its elite competition. Its budget was less, yet it consistently produced MAC championship and nationally ranked teams. The common denominator for all this success was Coach Richards. So it was for all these reasons, on the day I left Navy, that Coach Richards was the only college tennis coach that I wanted to talk to. Fortunately for me, Coach gave me the opportunity to come to Ball State. So I want to thank Coach for instilling the value of making the most of your opportunities, regardless of what you have or where you come from. In closing, I would like to say I'm deeply humbled to be sharing this honor with so many other great student athletes and honored to be part of the tradition that is Ball State athletics. Thank you to my parents, Coach Richards, Dan Kronage, my wife Rania, and 3 daughters for being here tonight, and also to my junior coach, Claire, who couldn't join us tonight. Being able to share this honor with you is the best value of all. Thanks, and enjoy the rest of the evening.